So welcome, BAC, or welcome back to Fantasy Drunken Wisdom with ID. My name is Israel.
My name is Daniel.
And this is Beer Me 4, which is also the Hipster 6-pack.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, that means you're not drinking craft beers,
Mm-hmm.
because craft beers usually just sell their beers in a 4-pack now.
Yep.
And not in a 6-pack. And that's usually what we drink.
Yep.
Right.
Or you haven't listened to Chael Sonnen.
What did Chael Sonnen say?
He says that. He says the 4-pack is the new 6-pack.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Oh, because he...
Yeah.
When you lose to Vanderlei.
Yeah.
And you lose to Anderson Silva. And you lose to who else?
John Jones.
All 6-packs.
Yeah, all 6-pack.
All right. So, yeah, that's the new hipster. This is what we're going to call it, the hipster 6-pack. And what we have for you today is we got to talk about preseason just started this last Thursday.
It did.
And they
sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, and they call it the Hall of Fame game to make sure you watch it.
Yeah. And just don't watch it.
Yeah. I didn't. Did you watch anything of it?
Huh? Yeah, I saw first quarter and then highlights, and that's it.
Why are you telling our viewers to not watch it and you watched it?
Mm-hmm. So that way they didn't have to.
So what do you... Okay, enlighten us with your wisdom. What did you come with?
So what I took away from the Hall of Fame game is it was terrible. There's really not much to take away. However, one of the big things is Drew Lock did play. Drew Lock was the Broncos quarterback that they drafted in the 2019 draft. A few teams wanted him. The Giants should have drafted him, but they didn't. But
and instead they traded for Joe Flacco, or they signed for Joe Flacco. The Broncos. Yeah,
they had Joe Flacco, and then they picked up Drew Lock in the draft. But you did get to see Drew Lock play a bit, and it wasn't good. But then again, it's his first quote-unquote NFL game, but not really.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. You're in Dynasty, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's how you know this name, right? Because I don't care for this game. I don't care about Lock. I don't care about that because I'm not in a Dynasty League yet.
Right.
Right. But for you, that's important because you're in a Dynasty League.
It is, yeah.
Right? And what that means is that you shouldn't have watched it, but you watched it because you had to.
Yep.
And I would recommend that, unless you're not in a Dynasty League, not to watch it. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? It's the first preseason game. And just to go with that, too, preseason starts this Thursday, right?
Week 2.
According to
the NFL preseason.
Yeah, we are on week 2 now of the preseason because the Hall of Fame game was week 1. So essentially, we have 4 weeks of the preseason.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny if you think about it.
No, these games would be still you don't really need to pay too much attention. They'd be a little more interesting though than the Hall of Fame game. Like if you're gonna watch them, if you're just gonna watch them because you like football, then by all means, go ahead do that.
I'd rather watch arena football if that's still a thing. Let's go San Jose Sabercats.
There you go. But if you want to take anything away from it, then all you're really doing is you're looking to see who kind of stands out. Like is there anyone that when you see them, they're electric on the field. They're making plays. They're consistently, you're like, oh wow, this person looks really good, right? Because then what happens is they're carving out their backup role, and if they look great as a backup in preseason, then if something happens to the starter, chances are they're going to be it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're going to go into the preseason. What is that going to look like for us, Daniel, as in what are we going to do analysis or evaluations, or are we just going to summarize what we read for the viewers or for the listeners? What are you thinking?
It's really just going to be a summarization. There's honestly not too much to take away from preseason. You really shouldn't pay too much attention to it. I'll watch a few games. I'm in Dynasty though, and just because I do like football, and be like, oh, let's see some people hurting each other.
And that's always a good thing.
Yep.
We're big fans of UFC as well, and we do like the sport of hurting each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, for the preseason, like like Donnie said, we're just gonna summarize what different writers say. Like I told Donnie earlier off the air, Roto World has usually good summarization of what happened, what to look forward to, and you could read those if you don't want to watch any of them. For myself personally, I look for more injuries. I look for more the final roster cuts, who's going to make the team, who's not, and I look at the depth charts. What are my backup RBs? What RBs got hurt? I don't worry too much about the wide receivers because it's not such an injury prone. But if it does happen, then like we did with the AJ Green thing, we see Tyler Boyd step in.
Yep.
Tyler Boyd moves up. It's more that for me for preseason. It's not much for me. It's not so much about the hype. We seen a couple years ago with Amir Abdullah just tear it up, and he went from the 8th round in 1 week in Yahoo ADP to like the 4th round, and it was ridiculous because then he didn't do anything for the Lions.
Yeah, he was that was last year's Royce Freeman.
Okay, exactly.
Tore it up in the preseason. People just thought they were playing him because, he's a rookie getting rep time. He's going to be the guy. Turns out they were playing him because he was the number 2 behind Lindsey, who no one knew.
Yeah, because he was an undrafted free agent, right?
Unless you were in Dynasty, you might have known him.
Maybe. Maybe. But he is from Denver.
Yep.
So true. That's probably why he got signed there.
Also, just one quick thing on preseason games. Generally they don't start starters, but sometimes some teams do. Like last year, I think Mahomes, he played like the starters.
Because he was a rookie.
And they were going to use them, right?
That's
but why. they had him start like all the games for at least a quarter.
Well, just like Joe Flacco's supposed to start the next preseason game.
Yeah.
It's for them to get acclimated to the system. The majority of the people who are going to play, majority of the people you draft the first 6 rounds won't play until the last preseason game. And they only play for one drive.
Right.
And then
especially the studs. You're not going to see anyone in the first 2 rounds. They shouldn't be playing.
Yeah. So, but at least for us, we are going to just look at it, tell you what's going on, tell you what the experts are going on. But that's pretty much for preseason. Just don't watch.
Yeah. Unless you're a Cardinals fan, I could see them maybe. Kyler, rookie quarterback.
Sure. You can watch. I'm not going to watch. I'll read what the experts got to say.
There you go.
But here we go. So for our next segment here, we got Minority Report because that's exactly what's going on now. Just reporting about everything.
Mostly the minorities.
Minorities reporting on minorities. That's how we do things here. And Andrew Luck is on deck, so he's considered a minority today.
Yeah.
And
he's a minority among the minorities.
There you go. He did go to Stanford. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the Minority Report next. And as you know, we do Minority Report, and we do injuries, and then we do HYPHY as the hype news. And we're gonna continue to do that. That way, you can just either click on the time signatures, and you can just move on to that, or you can only listen to the analysis that we do for the Minority Report.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, cool. So Minority Report starting now, and we got number 1, D'Onta Foreman was cut, then sent on waivers, and then was picked up by the Colts. And he was cut by who?
He was cut by the Texans, Houston.
Yeah, and there was such a big thing. I think we may have did it on previous Minority Reports. Was he going to take some red zone, or was he going to take some carries or some type of timeshare with Lamar Miller?
D'Onta Foreman had big hype around him. There was legitimate concern for Lamar Miller fans, if they exist, to say like, D'Onta Foreman could take over, and before the injury he was a stud, so people were picking him up in like the 9th round previously.
Yeah, I saw that in Yahoo ADP. But I'm gonna pause you right now because either one or two things here is going on. Either one, we're just trying to get through this, or 2, we're really drunk because we didn't do our BAC welcomes. We did not tell anybody what our BAC was right now, and that's our whole premise. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my fault as the host.
I forgot.
But I'm at a...
As I'm drinking.
Yeah, me too. I'm at a 0.06 right now. That's what I blew before this. And just to let you know, we're low on batteries. And yes, our thing so professional, made in China,
Mm-hmm.
runs on batteries, and for a while there it wasn't working. And what I figured out was that one of the batteries was reversed and was in the right position.
So I'm at a 0.041, maybe. We really don't know with when I'm doing the breathalyzer.
What did you blow twice? What was the number?
0.199.
And apparently
2 times in a row.
And apparently that's the number that he always hits.
And that was after getting a 0.
Low batteries, I keep telling you.
Yep.
And it actually was working that time. It wasn't because I reversed the batteries backwards and it wasn't turning on. But yeah, let's just throw it out there for the listeners. Yes, we did do the BAC levels and take them for what they are now because we didn't do them. We didn't do them. But as for that, are we done with Deontay Foreman and the Colts and
more as far
Miller?
as how it affects Texans? It just means Miller. It's Miller's job.
Oh yeah,
like he's the number. He's going to be the workhorse. They're going to need to sign someone, maybe like a veteran who's going to play a backup role, maybe a third down back, that kind of specialist, something like that. If Duke wants to get traded, maybe that's a landing spot for him.
Yeah, that sounds like a good take right now for this time. And you are going to see Lamar Miller go up on any platform ADP.
Not too much though. He'll go.
I think he's going to go really big on Yahoo because Yahoo is like in the 70s or 80s.
I think he'll go where he went last year in the 6th round.
And I could see that, but he's still going to move up from his ADP now.
Yeah, he'll move up.
Yeah, he's going to move up. And just expect that as you're now drafting or mock drafting right now. The second one here, let's just stay with the Colts, is Andrew Luck. Has a calf injury, and it looks like it's pretty serious now because week 1 might be in doubt.
Yeah, there was a report saying they asked the coaching staff, will Andrew Luck be ready for week 1? Their response verbatim was, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Wasn't that the goal for everyone?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You want to hear like, oh, he'll be fine. Like, well, you want to hear like, oh, he's going to sit during the preseason. We don't need to, we know he knows how to play football.
Yeah.
But he'll be ready to start. When he says the goal is to start, to be ready week 1, that's actually concerning. And everyone on that offense takes a hit. Like everyone takes a hit. It's the biggest hit probably goes to Marlon Mack.
Not T.Y. Hilton.
I mean, T.Y. Hilton, everyone's going to take a huge hit, right? Yeah. But Marlon Mack, right, he doesn't catch passes.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
So
Nyheim Hines would also get hit, right?
Right. With a backup quarterback, I don't think they're going to be winning games. They're going to be negative game scripts. Unless they pull like a Tennessee Titans, they're not just going to keep running it with Mac. They're going to be passing it, so Nyheim Hines might get more work, and the tight ends, whoever. But I mean, whoever's throwing it, it's not. I mean, it's no Andrew Luck.
Do you know who the backup is? Is it still Jacoby Brissett?
Still Jacoby Brissett.
It's still him. And
I want to say it is.
All right, I'm trying to see if that is it, and I think it is.
Yeah.
I think you're still right on that, and I don't think he misses too many games. There's not too many experts right now evaluating that. But What I do know history-wise about Andrew Luck and his shoulder injury was that the Colts were very hush-hush about things and wanted him just to recover kind of just privately. And this might be another thing.
So he's going to miss the entire season?
I hope not. I hope not because I think he's going, second? In Yahoo ADP?
He is.
Right?
Yeah.
He's ahead of Aaron Rodgers and he's behind Deshaun Watson, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And if this continues to go on, you definitely got to move him down.
Actually, no, he's in front of Deshaun Watson. Because he's going second.
Mahomes is
Luck.
number 1. Yeah. Gotcha. He's number 1. He's over Watson?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he is anymore.
I don't think so.
Not anymore.
No, we just did a mock before we did this podcast, and I think it goes Mahomes, Watson, Luck.
Okay.
For right now. Right. And that stuff is changing all the time. All right, so that's enough for Andrew Luck. Seems to be injured all the time.
Yeah.
What we got here is the Antonio Brown news. What do you got for us, Donnie?
Oh, Antonio Brown. These blistered feet right? Due to I remember you brought it up. It's the first time I heard it.
Yeah, me too. I just read that it was due to frostbite in the cryotherapy that everyone seems to be doing now. All the athletes seem to be doing some type of freezing their body for longevity.
Yep.
Kind of like Austin Powers style.
For shrinkage.
Shrinkage. But he had blisters on his feet, and apparently there's some really either grotesque or nasty reactions to his posts. And me and Donnie have not seen this at all. And we're going to pull it up now. And please pull it up now as I distract the listeners. Because you're gonna pull it up and you're gonna get a live reaction of how we're gonna look at Antonio Brown's freak, which I do have a fetish of, by the way.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's it.
Yeah.
Still, what does it say? Still blank. Report that. I can't read that.
Still. I don't know.
It's not even
but
that
it's
bad.
Not that bad. Just, I guess people just have a weak stomach, or
yeah, that's the post right there.
Yeah,
that's not even that bad. Come on, like.
But thank God the shadow's covering his mustache.
Oh, he's crazy that his feet look bleached on the bottom of his soles,
just like his mustache,
just like his mustache when he had his little Hitler mustache going on, and. It's not that bad.
That really doesn't look. I mean, like it's not good. But
don't even look at it.
Yeah,
it's not even that bad. It's not even that bad. I've heard a lot of reports and even a lot of podcasts say don't even look at it. And I'm gonna say don't even look at it because it's not even that bad. They say don't look at it because it's gross.
We're saying it's a waste of time.
Yeah, don't waste your time. All right, let's move on. We got the holdouts still, and this is gonna be really tiring to keep. Fucking reporting about.
But this is Zeke. This is what he does. You always get a report about him all off season.
Well, first, yeah, either he can't get his shit straight, or he wants to get his shit straight because he wants his money. But let's start with Zeke then. Let's start with Zeke, and what's the newest news?
According to representatives of Zeke, whoever that is, they said he.
I have people too.
Yeah, he will not play until he gets
contract,
a new deal.
Yeah, and nobody knows what that means.
Yeah,
how many games he's gonna miss?
We're not even sure Zeke knows what that means.
He doesn't. I'll tell you that right now.
You know why? Because we don't know what it means.
He's still in Cabo, and because, like you said, we don't
know what it means. So how could he know, right?
And we're his representatives.
Yeah,
right. But according to the head manager over there is Jerry Jones, could see it lasting for months. And I say months, not a month, months.
Plural, people.
Plural, yeah. And I didn't graduate in English. You didn't either.
No. But it's a thought that counts.
Mm-hmm. And he's still thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's still thinking about it. But if you're looking at still Zeke, it's just today when we did the mock draft before this, Zeke fell from number 1 on Yahoo ADP to number 4.
Yeah.
ADP because of this, and this he may keep dropping. Just keep it posted, and we'll just wait. We'll just keep reporting to see what happens.
Yeah, I would have drafted him in the first round.
As of right now, I wouldn't either. Oh. He's not even in best ball.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know what best ball is, too, give him a lowdown real quick.
So best ball, but if you just like drafting, that's it. Best ball's for you. If you want to do a best ball league, there's plenty of sites that offer it. Draft.com, even Yahoo does it, tons of others. Essentially, you draft a huge roster. There's no kicker, no defense, normally.
Well, except for Yahoo has defense.
Oh, Yahoo has it. But you just draft a huge roster, and what it does is it automatically starts your highest scoring points at each position, and at the end, it just pays out whoever the winner is.
Yeah, so basically what it is, it's a one-and-done draft.
Last year, I did, for the 2018 season, I did drafts in like April of that year.
April.
I also did some in September.
But April.
Yeah.
The draft, even the NFL real draft didn't even happen.
And I won with some leagues.
Did you?
Yeah.
How much did you win?
Not too much. I bet like $1.
So what did you get?
Like $5.
I bet you still won. You're still winning in my heart.
That's all that matters. I won.
Yeah, in April or September. But yeah, best ball is the new craze right now besides DFS, daily fantasy, and all it is that you draft one time. There's no trading. There's nothing. You just set it and forget it basically. And it's a bad infomercial. It always has been.
That's like my go-to for taking care of kids. Set them down and forget about them.
It always works out.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one we have here is I hate to do this, but we have Dolphin news. Because the only reason why is because in fantasy, if there's a starting running back, there's news.
Yeah.
And we have, again, last week, I think we called it hype news or either injury news. And now we moved it up to news because now we got Balaj and Drake reporting that they might split evenly in a timeshare. Yeah. And what does that mean?
It means it kills both their values, essentially. Like Drake was going the back of the 5th round, sometimes 6th, maybe early 5th, because, if Drake got all the work, he could passing work, all the first, second down work, then even though he's on a bad offense.
But he's pretty explosive.
Right.
He beat the Patriots by himself.
Yeah. Even though he's on a bad offense, he can perform and he's given the workload. But if he's splitting with Balaj, then, it's just stay away from both of them.
And it was exactly what I said last podcast, which was if I had to draft Drake because I was maybe going 0 RB or didn't have a really good RB, just cuff it with Balaj. And I know you disagreed with that. You were like, I wouldn't do that because it's a bad offense.
Yeah.
But if your roster is like that, I still say do that because why? And I'm gonna go with the next segment, which is who's hurt in that backfield. What did you tell me?
In that backfield?
Yeah, Balaj and Drake. Who's hurt?
Oh no, that's in Packers backfield.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, all right. Breathalyzer right here.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that, but they're still splitting, and they might have an even timeshare, which just kills Drake's value.
Yeah.
And I would, if I had to, depending on my roster, if I had to draft Drake, I would just cuff him with Balaj and see what happens there. What do you think? You still wouldn't?
At this point, like if I were to draft one, I would draft Balaj.
Well, he's got better value.
Better value, and
Yeah, he's got better value. Yeah.
If Drake gets hurt, then there you go.
I said only draft him if you, depending on your roster construction.
Right.
It really depends. All right, so the next one we have here is Chris Carson and Rashad Penny on the Seattle Seahawks. And quote unquote, they're poised for big things. Both of them apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't make any sense because if you read on Yahoo and Roto World, they said Chris Carson is supposed to be the stud there. So what do we believe?
Not in Pete Carroll.
The only thing I believe about Pete Carroll is he likes to chew gum.
Yeah, he does.
That's it.
But they're gonna run the ball. You could draft them both and they'll have value. If they run the ball as much as they did last year, they're both gonna have value.
And I think they will.
Yeah.
But we have Chris Carson going in Yahoo ADP around the 6th round.
Yeah.
5th, 6th. And we have Rashad Penny going around the 8th.
Yeah, I like them both where they're at.
Right? You like them both? Okay. Yeah. For me, I'm just going to wait and see to see what these stupid beat writers write because they just write shit. They're like the new Instagram, Twitter news feed, and they just want to make sure they get hits.
Yep.
And I don't want that right now. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to see what happens with Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. But as of right now, Carson is still going where he needs to be, and Penny, wait and see for me at least. And then when there's more information, we'll give you more. And in Minority Report.
Oh yeah, very minority.
Yes, Michael Crabtree. Yes, the Michael Crabtree from the Bay Area. He moved from one side of the Bay to the other side of the Bay.
Yep.
And now is not in the Bay, but he is signed with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
For some reason. College rookie head coaches just like to have a bunch of toys, I guess.
I think that's more veteran presence. Like they have a bunch of weapons. I mean, it's not even veteran presence. They have Larry Fitzgerald. He's older than Crabtree,
And he got poked in the eye by Nagamagunsu, his friend, and didn't even do anything to him. He was just like, all right, so we cool. That's the veteran presence. Like, nah. And I think a reporter even asked him, like, did you get poked? And he was like, nah, didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
Well, how could you if you got poked in the eye?
Larry's awesome.
Yeah, no, Larry's is the veteran presence. But as of right now, just wait and see. I don't even know if he's going to make the 53-man roster.
It means nothing, really.
Yeah, it's just fun to just report that. But let's see. And if he does make the roster, what does that mean?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Mm-mm.
I think he's the red zone.
You think so?
I think so.
I think David Johnson's the red zone.
Well, obviously. Obviously he is.
No.
But I think as the wide receiver, as the pass catcher,
I think it's still David Johnson.
Okay. He's calling it out. We might have another shot at it. If Michael Crabtree makes it, we'll see who has more pass-catching touchdowns.
Oh.
If he makes it.
I'll do it right now. Let's do it right now.
Well, no, I said if he makes it.
No, right now.
All right. We're on to the injury reports now. That's enough for the minority report and the analysis. Now it's just straight shot, which means that the injury report right now, number one, is McKinnon is off the pup. He's active now, which just means that the Niners just have a more overcrowded backfield.
Yeah.
Right. Coleman's supposed to be going number one, so draft him first. We got McKinnon maybe going number two, and then we got Breda, and then whoever else we have there.
Yep.
Right. Going back to the second one now, injury. I messed up with the Dolphins, but now let's go to the Packers. So what do you got for us, Daniel?
So it's interesting. I didn't know about this until I looked at the depth chart in the Packers website, because it has Aaron Jones listed and then Jamal, right? In that order. They're supposed to be 1 and 2, but hopefully Aaron Jones gets more of the workload.
Yeah.
But it has a little, in parentheses, it has them both designated as with some sort of hamstring issue.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because, hamstring issues, those linger. Those are one of the few injuries that I do taking into consideration going into the season, because hamstring injuries, they come back. It's so hard to recover from a hamstring injury. Like, I've had one, and granted, I'm not as dark as they are and not as gifted. But
you're also not an athlete. Yeah.
True, but
yeah, you're trying to be.
But it takes, I don't know how some of those, and I guess they don't, right? So many times they come back and they get injured. That happened to Odell, to Fournette, like a huge list of players with hamstring injuries. They try to come back, just doesn't work out.
Well, like Stephanie Bell said, and I keep harping on her because there's not a lot of injury analysis for fantasy football,
especially good ones.
Especially good ones. And what she says is soft tissue injuries are one of the hardest ones to come back from. And that's why a lot of people are worried about the calf injury of Andrew Luck, the calf injury of our shot bet, Derrick Henry. And now we have these hamstring injuries, and now we have Damian Williams with the soft tissue. Like yes, it's really worrisome because it's not like a bone where it can come back. It's very fluid.
Right.
Very fluid. And as of right now, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams have hamstring injuries, and we don't know what that means. What I mean by that is that it could be load management again.
Could be tightness,
looseness. But let's just continue to see what happens. Because we don't know. I think it's load management.
Yeah. Like we said before, if we don't know,
they don't know. Yeah. All right. So the next one is that Will Fuller is Fuller recovered.
Yeah.
or fully recovered.
I like Fuller recovered.
I like Fuller recovered too. 5 times, 4 times. What's his number? Will Fuller the 5th, the 4th?
Oh yeah, I think it's the 5th.
Right, something like that.
5th sounds better.
I like it. He's got a V in.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Welcome back. He's got an ACL tear. We don't know how it's going to affect his route running. He is the deep threat in the Texans.
Aside from Hopkins.
Well, Hopkins is not much of a deep threat. He can be, but he's more of the intermediate goal First down.
Hopkins is everything.
He's good. No,
Yeah.
he's good. That's why he's going round 1. All right, HYPHY. Here's the hype for this week. All right, everyone's favorite tight end because he's always hyped up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Reed from the Washington Redskins is the star of camp. Quote, yeah, right.
Yeah. Honestly, he should be though, considering who's on that team right now.
Yeah, right. There's no offense there.
Yeah, it's him. It's him and Adrian Peterson, probably the oldest 2 on the team, probably the best 2 on the team.
Yeah,
and Alex Smith too, and he's injured.
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I hope he comes back so he can play.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jordan Reed said that he feels more explosive than last year. And the crazy thing about last year is that Jordan Reed was a top 12 tight end, which was how bad the tight end position was.
Yeah. But also on like per game basis, like when he wasn't injured and he played.
Last year, or are you talking overall?
Last year.
Okay.
In general too. When he's on the field and he's not injured, he produces. It's rare that he busts. Actually, he busts because he gets injured during the game.
Yeah.
Or because he just doesn't play.
Yeah, because he's always hurt. But apparently, he feels more explosive, and you take it for what it is. We think it's HYPHY.
Or steroids.
Or that.
Or steroids.
Watch out for that PAD for game ban.
Yep.
All right. Next one is we're back again in Dolphin Land because it's a fucking mess. It's probably worse than the Raiders right now. And Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic, I don't know if you believe in magic, but he's going to be possibly the quarterback 1, right, Danian?
Yeah, they just keep saying, more news just keeps saying, oh, he's light years ahead of Josh Rosen. He's going to start over Josh Rosen. They keep saying that every week as if last week they didn't mean it. But I do expect Fitzmagic to start over Rosen. And honestly, I think that just makes the team better.
All right. I don't know what's going to happen. This could be the same thing with Fitzpatrick and Winston. They're just going back and forth.
That'd be terrible if that happened.
They could be the quarterback number 3. Like Winston Fitzpatrick together.
If Fitzmagic starts, you bet I'm lighting up DFS with Kenny Stills and Albert Wilson.
Maybe even Devontae Parker. Maybe even their tight end.
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like one of the best Spark tight ends.
Yeah, it was his Spark X score.
Yeah, and we'll see. I'm gonna wait on that. But that's HYPHY right now. No one makes me bleed my own blood. Michel.
Oh,
Sony Michel. Apparently, he likes to pass catches now, and
even catch passes.
Oh yeah, he's passing catches and my bad, I have it written down here. I like it.
I'm sure he'd like to do both.
He's throwing to himself.
I'd like them to do both on my fantasy team as well.
Yeah, my bad. He is catching passes now because Tom Brady would be throwing it to him. If he is, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think just hype news.
It's just hype. It's just people. Because me and Donnie were talking about it off there, was that they had that rookie, Williams. I forget his name.
Dexter Williams.
Yeah, there's just so many D. Williams out there.
Yeah.
Dexter Williams was supposed to be. Experts were like, draft him at the end of your leagues. Draft him at the end of your leagues. We don't know what's going to happen to Sonny Michel. And now he's supposed to be fully recovered. And now he's catching his own passes and throwing it to himself.
So honestly, we still don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we don't know, they don't know.
I guess that's the theme of this podcast.
And more importantly, you don't know.
Yeah. And you know who doesn't know? The Patriots don't know. Because this is the Patriots' MO with their backfield.
Oh, it's a mess.
It's always a mess. And yes, you can draft either one of these running backs and you might win week to week, but you don't feel comfortable.
Right.
You don't feel comfortable starting either one of the 3 or 4 or 5 that they have.
Yeah, give me James White.
Well, he's number 1. I would say that.
Give me James White.
Say that. All right. The next HYPHY right now, let's stay in the AFC East. Devin Singletary of who?
The Buffalo Bills.
You may have not known that because the Buffalo Bills are also trying to be just like the Patriots.
For real.
They got LaShawn McCoy. They got Frank Gore. They got TJ Yeldon. And they got this rookie, Devin Singletary.
But
apparently in camp, he's getting the number 1 reps. What does that mean?
So
Hype.
it's
Hype.
hype news. It's basically
Go dumb.
it's LaShawn McCoy's job to lose. It depends how he does. If we saw we can consider like a decline or just a terrible offense. Like it's hard to choose, but we'll find out. If he is declining, maybe Devin Singletary takes away the job from him. Don't know how good of an offense they're going to be, so don't know how.
And this is why I look
important that job is.
Yeah, and exactly. Why would you want to draft in that one, right? And also, this is really important to know your depth chart here, because I can't see him, this rook, go over Yeldon, go over Gore, go over McCoy. And McCoy apparently said that he was the guy. They told him, Buffalo Bills told him he was the guy. Yeah. And if that's going to be the truth, then he might be a steal at the very, very end of the 10th, 11th, 12th rounds.
Starting running back on a team, yeah.
Yeah. And McCoy has shown that he can win new leagues.
I hope you're right, because he's in my fantasy team.
Your dynasty league?
Yeah. My dynasty team.
There it is. All right. Last one we have here, we're going back to Pittsburgh Steelers. And we have Jalen Samuels, which I really like because he used to have a tight end RB tag on him. Last year, they took off the tight end tag off of him on Yahoo and now he's just an RB, which is pretty smart.
Yeah.
And what this means, the hype news is that he's emerging as a weapon, which means that, oh, God, Connor's going down. He's going down, which is really interesting because he was going way up on Yahoo ADP today. He's a first rounder, top 10 pick, which I would never do. Just letting you know. And what's going on is what Jalen Samuels is doing is that he's lining up as a backup running back, but he's also lining up. Apparently, they're doing 2 RB formations, and he's lining up as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Is he the new Le'Veon Bell over there?
Or DJ? DJ does both.
Talking about David Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, well, come on. Let's stay with Pitt, man.
Come on. Yeah, I think it's more. Basically, I think Connor sees more receiving work to Samuels, and if Connor were to go down, it's the Jalen Samuels show.
Did you say that Connor gets more receiving than Jim?
No, I think Connor recedes.
Recedes. Got you. Okay, I just want to make sure because we're about to do the second shot bet.
Gotcha. Receiving work to Jalen Samuels. Not all of it, but some.
Yeah.
And I think that'll take a hit. I think they'll use Jalen Samuels more like that Kamara type weapon. Obviously not with the upside of Kamara. I don't think anyone has that.
Yeah.
That insane upside as Kamara.
Yeah. I would even say he might even be used at the Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah,
there.
Could be.
Yeah, I think so in that system. Which we don't know yet if that's going to affect Connor's value.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see. Again, this is HYPHY news. And we're doing a lot of analysis on that. But here we go. What we got next is if you've been listening to Beer Me 2, Beer Me 3, and now hopefully you're continuing to listen to Beer Me 4.
If you're not, we're not talking to you.
Yeah, obviously, because they're not listening. They're not listening. D plus analysis is, well, all right. You're fucking up your beer over there. Danalysis, which is what?
Not to be confused with dialysis, although both are lifestyles.
And both you don't want in your life. Because both of them are going to require a long-term recovery in everything. In your lifestyle.
Yep.
All right. But we're going to go with this again. We're going to our own personal analysis. If you've been listening to us, we are analyzing the experts. And what we have here as a review, Beer Me 2, Donnie went over the stats, percentages of his situm stardoms, the love hates. And what we found out was season long, the NFL, Mike Fabiano was 68.8% accurate. ESPN, Matthew Berry was 70.1% accurate. And Yahoo Roto World was 61% accurate on the stardom situms, love hates, okay? And if you listen to Beer Me number 3, you can get more information about this. We went over the waiver, and Donnie did Danalysis. And NFL, Mike Fabiano was 75% leading the pack. And you gave him high praises in Beer Me 3. And ESPN.
For waiver wire,
Yep. Field Yates on the waiver wire. Now we moved from Matthew Berry to Field Yates because Field Yates does the waiver wire. He was 70% accurate, according to Donnie's analysis, or Danalysis. I'm gonna make sure I get that right. And the last one here, we had to take off Yahoo because we didn't really. You didn't look at the Yahoo. Like, I don't know who does it. Maybe Evan Silva, but Waterworld and Yahoo are together, and you did Waterworld, and they got 54.2% on the waiver wire, and that's where we're at. What do you got for us today? What would you like to start for a more in-depth listen of the analysis?
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to those stardom, sit-em stats, and And in the episode when I talked about those stats, when I looked further into them, I talked about, well, these are the stats. So, like, looking at taking face value of them, right?
Always a bad idea.
Yeah, ESPN's
that's lust.
Yeah, yeah, and alcohol. ESPN's Matthew Berry, right, had the highest, quote unquote, accurate percentage. He had 70.1, right?
Yeah, according to statistics. Yeah,
that was higher than NFL's Mike Fabiano's 68.8, and higher than Yahoo/Waterworld's 61%.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did is, while I was doing this research throughout the season and looking back on it, sometimes they told you to start a player that made no sense. And what I mean by that is they like if they told you to start oh, make sure you start Saquon Barkley. Make sure you start your
mean the 5th round pick on Yahoo?
Make sure you start your Tyreek Hill. Sometimes they told you to start one of your what's considered a stud, or they told you to start someone who's already proven themselves like 8 weeks in.
Again, Yahoo's really good at letting you know to start your studs. Who cares about what defense they're playing, right?
Right.
Okay.
So,
but what you're saying is, look at it.
Right. I'll give you a prime example. So, I mean, you could just pick a week, and there's tons. So I'm gonna skip down to. Let's skip down to week 10, right? If I'm just looking at week 10, right?
Okay.
If I'm looking at NFL's Mike Fabiano, right? He didn't do it as much, but if I'm looking at week 10, right? Mike Fabiano's told you to start Robert Woods, Joe Mixon, Philip Lindsay. So he told you to start more players, but those 3 players I highlight because why wouldn't you start them? Robert Woods, by week 6, he was already in the top wide receiver 1.
And Cooper Kupp was hurt.
He was down by then.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, why wouldn't you start him?
He was the leading rusher of the AFC.
This was after he came back from his injury, too.
Yeah.
This is weeks after.
Yes.
He told you to start Philip Lindsay, but by then, I mean, it's obvious. Right?
After week 1.
Yeah. Then we look at...
Come on, Mike.
If we look at...
Oh, no, man. I thought you were my man. I liked you.
He did pretty good considering, though. If we look at Matthew Berry, ESPN's Matthew Berry, he told you to start Juju Smith-Schuster, Keenan Allen, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, David Johnson, George Kittle.
Okay, the only one there, if you go pre-draft, that wasn't round 2, is George Kittle.
But on top of that, by week 10, Kittle was a stud.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And putting it in perspective, like, this is the first time I've been hearing this information, by the way. We wanted to make sure that this is my legit reaction, and then I can give you my psychological analysis of this, because this is ridiculous to think that these are the picks that they made. The experts were saying in week 10, start your first 2 rounds that you, at least on Yahoo ADP, play them, which is ridiculous to think, because even Kittle, I'm going pre-draft, like I said, pre-draft, Kittle wasn't really drafted that high at round 2. He was drafted like round 10 and below, depending on what league you were.
Yep.
And to think that, yeah, like you said, I will hit on that. You're correct. At that time, Kittle was tearing it up.
Yeah, you already know. Just like Lindsey, if someone told you week 10, hey, make sure you start Philip Lindsey, you'd be like, yeah, I know. I've been starting him since week 3.
You should have. You should have.
Now, for that week 10, Yahoo/World of World, right? Not a single person that wasn't like a stupidly obvious play. Like Yahoo, World of World, they go deep. So, just to take that into context, what I had to do is I went back in and I redid the stats.
Wait,
with my filter.
Before you did the stats, you said they went deep. Do you know the names of what Yahoo and Waterworld presented for week 10?
For week 10? Sure.
Yeah. Were they different from, Robert Woods, Joe Mixon, George Kittle?
All right, so week 10, Yahoo, right? The players that they told you to start, right? They told you to start players like Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz, Fitzmagic.
Okay.
Larry Fitzgerald, D.D. Westbrook, Jarvis Landry, Sterling Shepard, Aaron Jones, Kenyon Drake, Isaiah Crowell,
wow,
Duke Johnson,
okay,
Jack Doyle, Ricky Seals-Jones, Njoku Davis.
All right.
Vernon Davis, if you guys don't know who that is.
Vernon Davis, the handcuff to Jordan Reed, which you might need this year.
Yep.
All right. So we're back to soberness, maybe.
Yeah.
That is a diverse list there of who they picked on Waterworld.
Yeah.
And, okay, what else you got for us?
So, I could keep pulling up weeks, like week 7, almost identical to the last week. Mike Fabiano, right? NFL. Robert Woods, Mixon, Kittle. Those same 3. Right? Those are the 3 where, like, why wouldn't you start them? Of course. Right? ESPN's Matthew Berry, Odell Beckham, Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Philip Lindsey. Like, them telling you that is telling you nothing.
Exactly.
Yahoo, nothing. All of them were diverse, interesting picks that were solid.
Yeah, we can tell you on this podcast that start those players.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like anyone can, not anyone.
I was gonna say we paused because we just looked at each other and we're just like, we know that not everyone does this, and this is the reason why you're probably listening to us. But we want to know that the first, we're gonna explain this again. At least the first 2, you're always going to play. You should at least be playing the first 4 picks all the time, regardless if they have a bad matchup or not, or defense. Yeah, that's why you drafted them at their value.
Unless you suck at drafting, then maybe you might want to not pick some of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So, taking that into consideration, I looked back at everything and I pulled out all of those names that are the players that were obvious picks that didn't give you any help whatsoever. And I came up with a new filtered stat. Now, the filtered stat, right? The filtered stat does not take away big name players who weren't performing. They had like maybe 2 games where they just had dud games, and you weren't sure whether to set them that 3rd game. If that happened, I kept them in there as like, oh, okay, yeah. Michael Thomas had 2 or 3 games where he got below 7 points.
Okay.
That happened. I owned Michael Thomas, so
that was your baseline,
right?
And that was how you were trying to see if they hit or not hit.
Yeah, actually, it was even higher than that. So he performed well, good below, especially for your round 1/2 pick.
And remember, I believe you're doing this for half PPR,
half point PPR.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I didn't do this for players coming off injury, and you weren't sure whether to play them right after said injury.
Okay.
Like maybe Leonard Fournette off of his hamstring injury. So they include big names who, when they told you to play, like, oh, make sure you play Leonard Fournette, he's coming back. I didn't take away that because I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, you should be playing them, right?
So NFL's Mike Fabiano, I had to take away 20 of his picks. So I took away 20 picks from his overall picks and 20 picks from his hit. And his percentage turned from 68.8 and went down to 66.5. So a little over 2% drop, which is not too big. That's why I said, I'm like, oh, Fabiano had some things that did annoy me, but he's pretty good.
No, it's still pretty decent.
Yeah.
If you think about it, only 2% difference.
Now this I have highlighted in red.
I see it. It's like Antonio Brown's blisters.
So ESPN's Matthew Berry, right? I had to take away 40 picks.
Okay, so he doubled the amount.
Correct.
From Mike Fabiano.
And his percentage went from 70.1, the highest among the three, to 41.8.
Oh, shit.
Well below any of them.
That's 30% difference.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a huge, yeah. I'm glad that you made it, you bleached it up.
Yeah.
Like Antonio Brown's mustache and his bottom of his feet.
There you go.
And Matthew Berry is not making great picks.
And if you look at Yahoo, right, /RotoWorld, you could read it. How many picks, how many did I take away from them?
It says here -0,
right.
Which I've never heard of that because 0 is 0.
Correct. Well, -0. So
-0.
I didn't take away anything from them. They never once told you to do something that's so obvious, right? Like they never said, "Oh, make sure you start Christian McCaffrey." They never said that.
That's fucking crazy,
their stats
dude.
remained 61%.
That's fucking...
Which is why I have so much praise on them. ESPN, they went where if you took it for face value, you're like 70.1 on season. That's great, right? But after going through that filter, they dropped to 41.8. Honestly, it is like... This is really bad for ESPN's analysis because that means the actual picks that might have been considered useful had an extremely high...
useful.
They weren't. They had an extremely high bust rate.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. So they went from first, what's his name, Bobby?
Yeah.
From if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. I'll get a ninth. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Matthew Berry went from first to last.
Or from...
He did. He went first to last, and he's 20% below even Yahoo, who was last before.
Yeah,
that's fucking great analysis. That's what you get here at the Fantasy Drunken Wisdom. The analysis.
Analysis. Yeah.
God damn. So what you're saying is and I get it. I get it. You're going to look at the research that's on your platform, but you need diversity, just like America needs diversity. That's what makes us a great country.
Yeah,
and
makes us number one.
Yeah, number one, right? And what's going to make you number one in your league is that you have to deviate from your own research. If you keep looking at the ESPN shit, because you play in ESPN, you're going to just be pigeonholed into that.
Exactly. You can't rely on one source for all your news. Right?
Exactly. And you can't use the same sources that your opponents are using because then your waiver picks are going to be all fucked up. Maybe even your FAB auctions are going to be all fucked up. And it's not going to help you.
Yep.
So,
and Republicans, Democrats, you could learn something from what I said.
Yeah, I like it. Be independent.
Yeah.
So cool, man. I this is my first time hearing this. My mouth was open this whole time because I was like, wow, 20 to, was it 30%? 30% drop off?
30% drop off, yeah.
And 20% drop off the first, potentially the second and third place people.
Yeah.
20% drop off.
They were padding their stats.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Padding.
Yeah, and
I like it.
Granted, NFL did a little bit of padding, but they gave you so much picks, right? They gave you a total of 304 picks.
Yeah.
Even taking out that 20, bringing it down to 284, right? And, adjusting that, a 2% drop, it still isn't that bad.
Fuck.
Granted, Yahoo, that's why I have so much praise for Yahoo. I didn't have to adjust it at all.
No, fuck you. You adjusted it -0.
Negative.
All right.
I could have wrote +0. It's the same shit.
All right. Wow. I'm mind blown because I read all these articles. I have read all these articles in the last 5 years, since I wanted to diversify my portfolio. That's some white lingo shit right there. And it has helped me a lot because I get to find out who to pick up, who's not being picked up in my leagues. And from what you're saying is fucking Matthew Berry's been piggybacking on some piggyback shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And ESPN Matthew Berry, he started late. He started like week 4. No, he started week 5, I think. Yeah, we started week 5 because there was not a single week where I didn't write something down to take away from it.
Well, granted, this year was his first year where he was being overworked, and he even said in his manifesto, which I really recommend you always read every year. His manifesto is really good, and he'll give you some analysis on what percentage your fantasy points for the first, second round will happen, first, second, third, fourth round, and the first, second to the sixth round. He'll give you some good analysis.
That is good.
It's really good. It's really helpful because then you don't do so many risk aversion picks. But what I'm hearing is that Matthew Berry here is padding his stats.
Yeah, for his love-hate column, the star sitting just don't. He does other great stuff, just not. This is not one of them.
Yep.
I mean, oh man, I mean, his first week 5, he was like, make sure you start Christian McCaffrey, James Conner, and Zach Ertz. And then from there, it just got worse.
Wow. Almost all top 4 picks. All right, what else you got for us? Because we're almost on time here.
Okay, so lastly, we'll briefly talk about...
you want to do briefly? You want to save us for the next one?
Yeah, you know what? We'll save it for the next time then. Yeah.
All right, let's save it for the next time. So next time we'll talk about the waiver wire percentage. You got really great analysis on the experts, and according to Danalysis, is that Matthew Berry, what the fuck are you doing besides being in the Avengers movie?
Yeah, no, that's the takeaway here is, one, don't read anything for face value unless you're reading Yahoo, because they're going to tell you legit shit. ESPN, don't trust them with love, hate, start, sit. If you listen to NFL, Mike Fabiano, you're good too.
All right. So if you're going to diversify the portfolio and read all these articles, please do, but also take them into account to your personal league. Take them into account to your personal roster and what you need. Right. It's always a good thing because, love, hate, and stardom, situms, they're cool, and it's cool to see your player be the start of the week or be on the list, and you're like, I'm set. I'm set for that week. But who knows? You don't know because you could have that person there, and they can go for 40 yards or go for 60 yards, just a touchdown and 20 yards, and then you're like, well, that was my star of the week.
Yep. It happens all the time.
It does happen. And that's the variability that we're trying to enclose on our analysis. That way you have less of a variance. And you may not know what that means.
Yeah.
But a variance is from 0 to 100, meaning that we're trying to make it the probability as low as possible for you of hitting big. Is that what it is?
Say that one more time.
We're trying to lower the variance.
Let's
say it's 0 to 100, right?
You're trying to lower the variance of hit. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
There it is.
Interesting way to word it, but yeah, I got you.
Right? Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
Or are you Matthew burying me?
Now, one little thing, if you do want, because we already threw ESPN under the bus here.
No, we did not.
Well, I mean, with this
hit them for what they are.
There you go.
No. We hit them for what they are.
White privilege. No. But if you do want to take away something from Yahoo NFL, if you want to compare them to each other, right? Because they have comparable stats. Depending on your league size. If you have a bigger league size, maybe you're more into like 10, 14 team leagues.
Okay.
Then you probably want to lean more Yahoo because they have more of those. They really diversified their pick. They have more of those like, oh yeah, I didn't think of starting this one, or this is someone I could possibly pick up from the waivers and start, or my league's so deep that I would have this person on my bench. I'm glad they told me I could start them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say earlier was I don't know how they do the stardom, sit-ems, or love-hates because I know how they do the waiver wires. And the waiver wires, remember, they recommend people that are not owned more than 50% in the league. So I don't know how they determine that, but they should not determine that you should be playing Alvin Kamara, George Kittle in Week 10.
Yeah.
Like that is not good analysis. That's not expert analysis. That is common sense analysis. Anything else on your Danalysis?
That's all I got for today.
All right, so we didn't end with the BACs. Let me get this started right now. Oh shit, it's warming up. But hey, don't get a DUI, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
All right. I'm done with all my drinks. I've actually had 2 shots. I had Boilermakers, so I should be higher than Daniel.
There you go. And I'm still finishing my drinks. A little left, but the cap fell in, so,
Get the hell out of here again. All right, anyways, I'm a 0.07. Apparently I can still drive.
0.07.
Yeah, 0.07. I'm a little bit more drunk than I started, 0.06. 0.07 is not much more. And in California, 0.08, you can drive. Unless you fail all your DUI tests. And if you fail that means that you're really fucked up. Daniel, what you got? We're waiting for that?
I'm still waiting, yeah.
All right, you're warming up too?
Yes, entertain them, strip.
Oh, shit. This ain't Magic Mike, bitch. Strip. Blow, motherfucker. I can't wait to see what he blows. 0.199.
0.03.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's like the best thing I've ever gone.
Yeah, you actually lost.
Yeah.
Because you're less drunk than me. You were a 0.041 in the beginning, and now you're a 0.03.
He even has his frowny face.
It's telling you to drink more.
Yeah, what kind of breathalyzer did we buy?
The encouraging one.
Yeah.
The one that tells you.
Yeah, for real.
You need to drink more. In your state, it's 0.08, so drink more.
Yeah. I got to get back to my 0.19 average.
Yeah, 0.199 average. But thank you for listening. This is Fantasy Drunken Wisdom with ID. I'm Israel.
I'm Daniel.
Without you, we can have a DUI, and we want one so badly. So listen again next week. We're going to continue the Danalysis for the waiver percentages and his in-depth. We're also probably, if we have enough time, the ADPs. We're going to make you win your league. We just did an NFL for the very first time draft, and I think we killed it.
I mean, yeah, like we drafted with idiots, but yeah.
We think they're idiots, or maybe we're the idiot. Maybe we're Matthew Berry.
Yeah.
Of this. But we will give you the results of that next week. And if we have time, we'll do the ADPs and how to draft the best for the ADPs. So please tune in for that. That's going to be Beer Me 5. Thank you very much. Without you, we won't have a DUI.